Okay. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Um, Bismillah, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah, Assalatu wassalamu ala Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Welcome to the R2F Show, another installment of the R2F Show where we talk about spiritual abuse and try to get people back onto the straight path of Islam. Today we have, for our second session, Hussein and his brother Mo, who are going to be talking about some interesting topics related to a cult group that we all have experience with called TMOA, the Muslims of America. And with that, I'll turn it right over to Mubarak.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد. I would like to start by saying that anyone that is listening to this show or who will listen in the future that knows me and that has had any experiences or dealings with me personally in which I have wronged you or harmed you in any way, please contact me and we will make it right, inshallah. Whether it be something physical, emotional, financial, or whatever. I was an administrator at one time in the TMOA, and I was responsible for collecting dues at times, and arranging people's affairs in that matter. And the reason why I say that is because this is something that is wrong that was being done. But regardless of the of whether you're aware, you're not, once you become aware, you should make whatever wrongs were done right as best you can. So I know that some people were removed from their property, their homes, blocked from their families, and different things. I don't personally remember being part of that, but my memory could have evaded me. So I say that anyone who feels like I have wronged them in any way, please contact me publicly or privately. I don't care, and inshallah I will make it right, whatever it may cost. I say that to say, and please, anyone who has their biases or anything like that, listen carefully. These are the words of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the words of Allah. So let's start with the hadith in which Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, and this is narrated in Sahih Bukhari if anybody wants to look it up. But Rasulullah sallallahu has said, whoever has wronged his brother with regards to his honor or anything else. These are the words of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Whoever has wronged his brother, and this also includes your sister, but whoever has wronged his brother in regards to his honor or anything else, let him seek his pardon today, before there will be no dinar or dirham, when if he has any good deeds to his credit, some of his good deeds will be taken in proportion to his wrongdoing. And if he has no good deeds, then some of the bad deeds of the one whom he wronged will be taken and added to his burden. So that you understand, if you have wronged someone, you can ask Allah to forgive you, but between you and another person, you have to be forgiven by the person you did wrong. So Rasulullah is saying, ask today. If you wronged a person, go to them today and make it right. Because on the day of Qiyamah, if you could be the most pious person, you wronged another person, they could be the worst. They might get all of your good deeds given to them. Why? Because of the wrong that you did to them and you never made it right. And Rasulullah said, his honor, if you dishonor another person, man or woman, and you don't make it right with them, Allah will make it right on Qiyamah by either taking from what you did good and giving it to that person, or taking the bad that the other person did and giving it to you. So be careful. The next thing and the last thing that I will say is what Allah has said. And Allah has said, listen to the words carefully, because a lot of people don't understand this and they think that someone is going to help them and save them in the times when they will be most needing of help. Listen to what Allah says. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. وَلَا تَزِرُ وَازِرَةٌ وِزْرَ أُخْرَى. No bearer of burdens will carry the burden for another. Okay? وَإِن تَدْعُوا مُثْقَلَةٌ إِلَى حِمْلِهَا لَا يُحْمَلْ مِنْهُ شَيْئًا وَلَوْ كَانَ ذَا قُرْبَى. And even if the person who was burdened down by the weight of their sins and their deeds and the things that will keep them from getting into Jannah, even if they called out for someone to help them, whoever, your sheikh, your friend, your brother, Allah says it will not be allowed. So you say, hey, can someone take the burden, the sins for me? Help me, share in this. Can anyone save me today? Allah says, no. وَلَا يُحْمَلْ مِنْهُ شَيْئًا وَلَوْ كَانَ ذَا قُرْبَى. Even if it is someone close to you, a close relative, a friend, a family member, a father, a son, Allah says it will not be allowed. Even that person won't be able to say, my brother has a lot of sins, can I give him some? No. Only Allah is the one who will take and give based on your wrongdoings or based on if you were wronged by someone. But Allah is saying, even if you call on your close friends, companions, or whoever, they will not be able to carry the burden for you. So there won't be anyone saving you when your crimes, your sins, and your wronging other people has weighed you down, and their sins have been piled on top of your own sins because you never made it right. Allah says it won't be taken from you. إِنَّمَا تُنذِرُ الَّذِينَ يَخْشَوْنَ رَبَّهُمْ بِالْغَيْبِ وَأَقَامُوا الصَّلَاةَ. This is just a warning for those who fear their Lord and establish the salah. So keep this in mind. If you wrong someone, make it right. So all these people have wronged people years ago, decades ago, and now they want to be some pious abid, and they want to just keep quiet about it. Meanwhile, these people have been wronged. Allah is saying, and his messenger is saying, you won't be able to get away from it. Even if you're the holiest person on the planet, until then, you have to go to that person. Even if you don't respect them, even if you don't like them, even if you think you're better than them, if you wrong them, even if there's a chance, go to them and make it right. Allah has said it. Rasulullah has said it. Don't leave yourself in the lurch. You only have yourself to blame. After today, anyone who has wronged another, listening or hearing this, should quickly, with haste, because you don't know when you will die, try to make it right with another. So I say this to close. If I have wronged anyone, I don't know of anyone, but if I have, I'm saying sincerely, contact me. We will make it right, inshallah. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun ala al-mursalin walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Tafadhal, Sheikh.
I mean, alhamdulillah. So let's get right into it. So you guys have, just for anybody that doesn't know, who's tuning in late, these brothers were the pioneers for the people in TMOA, or ex-TMOA members, coming on the show, telling their accounts, giving their stories. And we've been doing interviews pretty much almost nonstop since then. I mean, what has it been, like 7-8 months now, like straight? We've been doing interviews, 6-7. Anyway, so tell us a little bit about your time after you came public on the show. What has been going on in y'all lives?
All right, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone. Allah's kind, honestly, everything has been going well. Of course, there have been new developments, and I learned a lot since my podcast. My podcast was back in October, beginning of October. There's been a lot of developments and a lot of things have been said, and we're going to address some of those things on this podcast right here. But I told you, that's what I'm here, is to bring it up to speed as to what has happened and address as many as I can. But I'm going to get straight into it. Like, we're not going to waste any time. But I want to start with quoting 2 hadiths. And then the reason why I'm quoting these 2 hadiths is to segue into what I'm doing, so I can try to give the listeners with an open mind perspective as to why I'm saying what I'm saying and why we're doing what we're doing. So the first hadith is a little lengthy, so you got to bear with me. So the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, verily, Allah the exalted and glorious will say on the day of resurrection, O son of Adam, I was ill, but you did not visit me. He would say, "Oh my Lord, how could I visit you? You are the Lord of the worlds." Thereupon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would say, "Did you not know that such and such slave of mine was ill, but you did not visit him? Did you not realize that if you had visited him, you would have known that I was aware of your visit to him, for which I would reward you? You would have found me with him. O son of Adam, I asked for food from you, but you did not feed me." He would submit, "My Lord, how could I feed you? You are the Lord of the worlds." Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would say, "Did you not know that such and such a slave of mine asked you for food, but you did not feed him? Did you not realize that if you had fed him, you would certainly have found this reward with me? O son of Adam, I asked for water from you, but you did not give it to me." He would say, "My Rabb, how could I give you water? And you are the Lord of the worlds." Thereupon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would say, "Such and such a slave of mine asked you for water to drink, but you did not give it to him. Do you not realize that if you had given him to drink, water to drink, you would have found this reward with me?" And then the last hadith I want to say, to segue into what I'm saying, is, "O Messenger of Allah, Islam, the Messenger of Allah, Islam, has ordered us to visit the sick, to follow the funeral of a dead believer, respond to a sneezer. When they sneeze, say Alhamdulillah, you say Yahamakallah, to help those who vow to fulfill it, to help the oppressed, to accept the invitation extended by the inviter, and to promote greetings, giving salams when you see a Muslim brother." And I'm saying that to segue into, we always get the question, why are we doing what we're doing? What are we doing it for? One, we're doing it because I feel morally obligated, because I know what has been going on for the past 30 years because I was in that situation. So morally, I want to stand up for it and try to assist the best I can, because I know what I experienced and what I went through. I know who helped me, who stood up for me, who didn't stand up for me, who sat there and let the things happen, or who turned a blind eye to it. So one, I feel morally obligated. And two, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made it my duty to stand up for the oppressed. He's made it my duty. He made it incumbent upon us. I brought the first hadith up to give you perspective. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying all those things in terms of feeding, giving water, and helping the poor and things like that, I don't want to stand in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and get questioned as to why I did nothing when I've seen my Muslim brothers and sisters' rights being violated, then being oppressed in more ways than one. I don't want to stand in front of my Lord and then answer to that, knowing that I witnessed that and I could have extended a hand in some way, shape, or form. So that's another reason why, I told you, those are two reasons why I'm standing up against it. So people always ask us, what are the reasons for us doing that and why we're doing that? So that is to basically simplify that. Now, sorry, I got a mind lost again.
All right, so much since the time that we came into the show all the way up until now, you know what I mean? It's been some very interesting developments, of course. And we always want to make sure that we're coming forth with accurate information and just being truthful as possible. You know what I'm saying? Oh, why don't I just leave it? Why are y'all doing this? Why are y'all doing that? Blah, blah, blah. Like, I mean, really? Why don't we just leave y'all alone? So you guys just oppress people for 30, 40 years. And then, you know, when we start to resist or push back a little bit, oh, you know, leave us alone, stop bullying us, blah, 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 this whole little victim, you know, mentality or something like this. I mean, this situation is bigger than any individual. You know, this is something that if we sat back and allowed to just continue to occur, it's going to have substantial and devastating effects on the next generation.
Yeah, it's going to roll from generation after generation.
We have kids. I mean, all of us have kids.
So when you guys reference oppression, transgressions, and this comes up a lot, the common question from people that are enablers or supporters, they say, well, what are you talking about? What oppression? What type of things are you guys specifically talking about?
All right, so I can answer that easily. And people have to expand their mind. Whenever somebody thinks of oppression, they think of way overseas, bombs being dropped and babies buried under rubble and things like that. There's oppression, there's huge oppression, and then there's smaller oppression. Just like there's major shirk and there's minor shirk. there's multiple forms of oppression. Violating a Muslim's rights is a form of oppression. You taking his property is a form of oppression. You breaking up his family is a form of oppression. Physically abusing is a form of oppression. Using your position of power for personal gain is a form of oppression. Raping, molesting, sexually abusing is a form of oppression. These are things that we witness, some have experienced, or have second-hand account of people that it happened to that I know it happened. And like I told you, me knowing that these things happen and witnessing and experiencing it, I can't stay silent, and I won't stay silent, because I know how that feels to have that sense of abandonment when, like, let me put it like this. I said on my first podcast, I don't know if people tuned into it, the community, the leader, his administration, and everybody in power took my voice from me and let it be known that they would never be able to silence me again, and they would never take my voice from me again. So I'm here speaking on behalf of all of the people that are in the community right now, or have second thoughts about it and want to get out, or anybody, or have been abused in any way, shape, or form, and their voice isn't being heard. We're here now. We are your voice. We are the voice of the voiceless. We won't be silent. I will never be silent. I'm going to do everything that I can do and my God-given abilities to assist in any way. Are we here trying to save the world and save the planet? No, because we get weak sauce comments all the time. Oh, we don't need y'all to save us. We don't need y'all to help us. Well, if you don't need us to quote unquote save you, which we're not even trying to do because we're not even saved. If you don't want us to help you, then keep quote unquote ignoring us and pay us no mind, because this is not for you. This is for the people who have an open mind, an open heart, and want to listen and can't get something from it. This is to help give that person that's second guessing and questioning a little bit of a push, a little more encouragement, a little more reassurance to let them know you can get through this. It's okay to question. It's okay to go and get the necessary information.
All right. So, and just so that we're not all over the place, we want to make sure that we target exactly what we're referring to. So a good companion of ours actually put this together, and I'm going to actually read it verbatim because it's powerful and it's explosive. Excuse me. All right. So in all seriousness, this is what he put. In all seriousness, now, let's take religion out of the equation for a second. Let's place Sufism, Salafism, or any other sort of ism to the side. Let's look at the situation from a moral aspect instead of a religious one. This is very, very important because we get this weak sauce all the time from left field, off the sideline. Oh, your hubbies. Basically, everyone's calling us.
We're all hubbies.
Basically now, according to a lot of people, we're Wahhabis and Salafis and all these other E's or whatever, right? But this is not about that. This is just basic, clean, cut and dry, straightforward morality.
Human decency.
Yeah, human decency.
Human rights.
So
Muslim rights.
We're in, and again, once we read off this list, everything is going to apply to TMOA. Let's just keep it 100. Sorry, TMOA. It's going to apply.
Sorry, not sorry.
Is it okay to morally marry children off against their will? Come on, y'all.
No. Morally or that's a double strike.
Is it okay to molest and abuse children? No. Is it okay to, I don't want to use that word, murk. I'm going to say murk. Murk other people because you don't agree with them or have some sort of deep-seated hatred for them? No. Is it okay to collect millions of dollars from your followers and live at large while they live in abject poverty?
Nope.
No. Is it okay to separate families? No. Is it okay to force divorces? No. Is it okay to steal other people's properties? Come on now. I'm not going to say no because everyone knows. Is it okay to not work a job a day in your life but live better than everyone else in the community because you are living off of their money? I mean, do we really need to name drop out here? Come on, guys. Come on, ladies. Come on, brothers. Is it okay to prevent people from attending the funerals of their loved ones because they are not part of or disagree with your group? Again, this is basic stuff that non-Muslims don't even do. This is basic stuff that non-Muslims do not do. If a non-Muslim is beefing with his cousin or whatever or something or whatever, if one of them passed away, he's not going to restrict that person from coming to a funeral. Like, are y'all serious?
It's ludicrous.
I mean, come on. Is it okay to cover up gross transgressions that have been acted out upon the community members? All of these things are not okay in any aspect of humanity. So we're not even talking about no ism, Wahhabism. I mean, we're getting this a lot. You know, apparently we went over to the dark side where Wahhabism, blase blah,
which is so weak.
Which is corny because once again,
well, did you guys?
We actually have the experience.
Did you guys get your check yet?
Say that again.
Did you get your Wahhabi check? It's like a tax refund.
I'm gonna make it known right now.
I didn't get none.
I'm gonna make it known right now. If they were actually willing to pay, I'd accept the pay. What are we talking about here? What are we talking about here? You're gonna tell me that I get to bust up a cult, you know, spread the word of Islam, and get paid for it?
Yeah, try to adhere to Quran as soon as best you can and get.
Yeah, I'd be down for that.
Yeah, I mean that's free.
So, yeah, that's free.
That's actually too good to be true.
So, anyways, these are the topics that we really wanted to talk about. And we just want to make sure that people understand this is not about this ism or that ism or any particular group. We're all trying to be in line with the path that leads to paradise.
Exactly.
Well, this is where we're all trying to go.
Let me hit you with a couple of stereotypical cult responses. So the first one is, there's so many people that need help in the world. Why don't you go help them? Why don't you go give dawah or help?
I'm so glad you said that. I'm so glad you said that, Jaffer. I'm talking about. I can't take it. That's one of the things that we hear most, and that is like in the shelf of weak sauces. That's on one of the bottom shelves of weak sauce. Okay, everybody knows that charity and you extending the helping hand starts at your home and expands outward. Okay, that's one. We were a part of this. This affects us personally, and it's still affecting us because we still have family in it. Why would we not deal with what's in front of us and go hop in the plane and fly overseas and try to deal with something overseas? That don't even make common sense. You got to use your brain. That don't even make common sense. And then two, hold on, I'm trying to get it together. And then two, you don't have a clue what I'm really truly doing. You don't know who I'm helping. It's not limited to one person, one group, or one thing. You have no idea. So once again, you're speaking from a position of ignorance, which is going to make me segue into my next topic, is why I keep stressing the fact that we are speaking up for those, we're defending the honor of our Muslim women that have been abused in all the ways they've been abused, our Muslim brothers that have been abused in all the ways they've been abused. Like I told you, to be blunt, all of my generation, so to say, my type circle and everybody that I grew up with, none of them survived. They're all out of that cult because it didn't take us convincing each other, me talking to somebody. We all sat there and witnessed the same thing with our eyes. 100%. We all looked at the same thing 100%. And we all weren't with it. This cult has been getting weaker and weaker throughout the years. It ain't survived our generation, and it is not surviving the next generation. 100%. 100%. They really thought they were about to reset this whole thing within the alleged 7 soul time, right here in my face while I'm sitting here and I experienced that. Like, I'm gonna let my kids go through what I went through. Y'all are out of your minds, and I got disrespected in ways I can't even put into words. So that's to add on to what he just said. Most people don't even know because at one point, as we already know, I had kind of disconnected from R2F, right? It wasn't nothing personal. It was just more so just me taking some me time, you know what I mean, to put some things together and write my own household. And I'm literally, you guys send me the video with the one boy, what's the dude's name? The young boy who's getting the turban wrapped around his head.
Edward Gardner. I mean, Yolani, sorry.
Yeah, Nor, right? So literally, like, all jokes aside, I'm looking at this video. I literally could not believe my eyes. Like, when I seen that little kid and they were trying to force the little baby kid, it's like a 4 or 5-year-old kid, to rub his feet or kiss his hand or
something down there in the foot area.
Once that happened, like, literally my mind shut off and I started to see red. And I'm thinking in my mind,
just imagine if that was our kid.
No. Yeah, of course. But look, seriously. At that point, I said, oh no, I went on ahead, had to slip back on my gloves, hop back on up in the ring.
Back in the arena.
Pun intended. You feel what I'm saying? To get some parts, because under no circumstances, I mean, the audacity. You're about to wrap this kid up He looked uncomfortable in the He didn't even look like he even knew
He looked like he was
Nice.
being forced to play a role that he had no clue what the script was.
He looked uncomfortable. People rubbing his feet, kissing his feet. I don't know what part of the sunnah that is, but I digress with that. But to think that we were about to allow, I mean, we're alive. We're fully grown, alive men. And we're about to sit here and say, oh, okay, this kid is about to be our new, let's keep it real, pimp. This guy's about to be our new, you know what I mean, pimp, and we're about to be doing X, Y, and Z. I've never been that tried in my life.
Ever.
Like, I've been tried a lot, but that was like one of the most gross tries I think I've ever experienced. And it's like, no. And then you have people trying to defend this and coming from off the sideline. Oh, no. And then your guy, Mubarak Jelani, you put your wife in charge.
Quote unquote, I'm going to be the cult responder in this regard.
Okay.
She's not my leader. We don't have a leader right now. That's what they say. That's another weak sauce.
So if you don't have a leader.
Yeah, everybody knows when you don't have an imam, we know who your imam is.
Yeah.
We all know that. So if you don't have an imam, that's very bad. If she's your imam, that's very bad. It's a lose-lose situation right now. It's not a good look for you.
Again, this is the thing where I feel like our intellect as a group of people, like as African Americans, we're being tried on a biblical proportion.
Right.
Like this is never even. I'm shocked. Like, okay, so you're going to put your wife in charge. You had 40 years. You're that guy. You are the majestic of the century. You are that dude. You are going to spend 40 years of your life. That's what, half his life. What did he pass away when he was 85? So you're going to spend half of your life preaching falsehood and spreading lies on Allah and Rasulullah. And you didn't even have the wherewithal to put somebody alleged scholarly in your stead. You put your whiz in charge. This goes back to what the brother Uncle Adin was saying when he was talking about this is a family business.
Oh, yeah.
Read between the lines, people. Open your eyes, use your intellect, activate your brain cells. You put her in charge on purpose. Like, that wasn't an accident or a mistake.
There's so let me turn up the heat on this a little bit. And I like the idea of like somebody playing a TMOA member. So like a lot of times when you have these conversations with TMOA members, all of a sudden they just like they play dumb and they don't know anything. So you guys gave a whole list of all these things that supposedly TMOA is doing. So the typical response from a TMOA member will say, what child got married against their will?
They do this all the time. Yeah, they do this. They feign ignorance all the time. If you were actually if you open your ears and your eyes, you'll be able to see and listen to the people telling their actual stories. And you're not going to sit in their face and tell them what they're saying isn't true. You see what I'm saying? Even though some people have the audacity to do that. But if you are acting like you were absolutely oblivious to what has been going on, like I told you, you can only feign ignorance, but so long. Because feigning ignorance can turn into two things. You feign the ignorance for so long, it's going to turn into one, negligence. And negligence translates into oppression. Or you're feigning ignorance so much, it's going to change into arrogance. And arrogance translates into oppression. You can only feign ignorance, but so long until you're just making yourself look foolish and stupid. These are facts. People are telling their stories. If you will get past your feelings with the R2F videos and actually listen to people who are traumatized by the things that they went through, then you'll actually be able to tell and see that these things are going on, aside from the stuff that you know is going on, but you're trying to turn a blind eye. And you turning a blind eye and being silent to these things, especially when the information is out there or is presented to you, and you're turning your blind eye and stuff, you are perpetuating that. Okay, well, that's what you're doing.
TMOA is all about spirituality. It's about the tariqah. It's not meant for everybody. If you don't like it, why don't you just leave and go about your way?
Well, what does that have to do with us talking about people getting physically abused and mistreated. I told you, I'm going to keep saying it, raped, molested, and all the things. What does your Tariqa path have to do with that? And don't get me started on the Tariqa path, because we can go down that Tariqa path if you want to go down that path. But what does that have to do with? But I told you, yeah, this is what they do. They try to turn a blind eye, sway, and act like it's not for everybody. No, getting molested and raped is not for everybody. It's actually for nobody. It's actually for nobody, being honest. No, seriously. Because like I told you, they do that, and by them swaying and trying to swerve the conversation is automatically disrespecting, degrading, and belittling the person that went through that. And they don't give a damn about it, because it wasn't them or one of their children. Let it have been one of their children. I know so many people that are still associated with the cult and everything that have 12, 13-year-old daughters. Let one of their daughters get forced married to a 60-year-old man. They're gonna be up in arms. They ain't gonna be with it. But when other people tell their story, you're acting like
they weren't forced. It was their choice. It was their choice.
We're not playing the dumb games that they try to play. They play those games, but I'm way past those kindergarten games. If you want to come up here to this level and play a real masterpiece like chess or something like that really requires you to critically think, then we can play that type of game.
And let me touch on that, because we're about to get right to this. But I want to touch on the two sisters. Alhamdulillah for that bravery that the back-to-back episodes. Scheherazade and Ruqayya. I mean, just amazing.
If I could clap, I would applaud.
Yeah, just amazing stories, bravery, and me personally, I have a lot of women in my life. I have quite a few daughters, and I actually have my daughter just turned 13, so I couldn't even imagine something like that happening. I mean, I don't even want to think about it. But I wanted to say that I appreciated their stories, and this is important to me personally, that we try to put something together, inshallah, to make sure that we're looking after the women, in particular, the single women, the single mothers. This is serious to me. You know what I'm saying? I think that we should try to set something up, inshallah, perhaps maybe some of the sisters from the R2F camp can reach out to some of the single sisters and just to check on them, check on their wellness. You know what I mean? Make sure that they may have things that they need. This is a big deal, because these are our sisters, these are our mothers, these are our wives. You know what I'm saying? And our daughters. So for me, that's important personally. So inshallah, if anyone from the R2F camp wants to step into that role, try to get the contact information. I don't know if the woman Ruqayya said that she was married or not. I'm not totally sure, but mainly we want to focus on the single women, inshallah, to make sure that they are cared for to some degree. I mean,
that's their right. That's their right, and that's our duty as Muslim brothers.
We're not, this for us, we don't want to crack her. We're simply doing our job as men to try to maintain and protect the women. I know Nabila Ali, she was single, I believe, the last time, she was on the show. Just making sure that someone reaches out to her, checks up on her, make sure that, they're checking on her wellness and all of that stuff. And for anyone else that's single, we need to have some line of communication with these sisters and make them feel comfortable and make them feel respected and appreciated.
Not abandoned and left for the,
So that for me is personal, and I'm trying to figure out ways of how to do it. Maybe I might get my Umi on the case. She's been asking to do something, so maybe I might speak with her about it. But let's just hop right into some meat and potatoes here. So this is a question that I've been chewing on for maybe a couple of months. I've been wanting to say it, but I'm like, nah, I'll hold it. Let's just be honest here, guys. Did Mubarak Jalani complete his mission that was given to him by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Now, everybody sit back. Obviously, it's low-hanging fruit, but everyone sit back. Did Mubarak Jalani, the Mujaddid of the century, complete his mission that was given to him by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? You can ask any of the apologists this. What we got?
So first you gotta
play the advocate. Play the advocate. What you got?
First you gotta identify, because this is it's a good question and it's a showstopper, but everybody has a different answer for what his mission was. So first, what's his mission? Like, which one do we want to talk about? Is it to guide all of mankind? Because some people will say that.
We're gonna address. We're gonna deal with that.
It's to guide all mankind, because he said that out of his own lips on multiple occasions.
But then other people will say, oh no, he's only here for us. He's only here for the Jamaat. So they'll say that.
Yeah, they will.
Okay. No. This is still.
Look at both of those.
Let's deal with the Jamaat, Joy. I mean, that's low picking.
You deal with this, I'm
okay. So
tag me in.
Did he complete his mission with the Jamaat?
So I'll answer from that. I'll answer from the Jamaati's perspective on that one. Yes, we have so many scholars. We have people that went to Azhar. We've been eating cream cheese and dates. We have all types of Pakistani dishes, and we know our Islam.
Okay, so you know your Islam. Have you been spreading your brand of Islam out to the world?
Well, no one's really allowed in the community right now, but you know, we are the examples for all of mankind.
I'm sorry, some stuff you can't say with a straight face.
I know, it's hard.
So forgive me a cruel chuckle.
No, okay, so we're gonna listen. Okay, let's talk about this. Okay, so Mubarak Jelani, he brought down this secret sauce. Of course, obviously, it's still some secret sauce. I mean, I wonder when it's going to get revealed to the world. But right now, it's some secret barbecue sauce or whatever. So he brought this little sauce down, and he's been teaching us about trying to control our nafs. Isn't that what Sufism?
That's the essence of Sufism, is fighting your lowly desires and things like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay, so by that definition, okay, I have to be specific. I'm sorry, everyone. I'm sorry if you get butthurt or whatever.
Stop being sorry. We're not apologizing to nobody.
Listen,
we're trying to speak the truth.
Mubarak Jelani, let's just look at him for who he is, who he was. Did he embody the control over his own nafs?
He embodies something.
Can anyone say this? Truthfully, y'all, I'm asking anybody. Can anyone say this with a straight face? Did Mubarak Jelani embody the essence of subduing the nafs? He's teaching us Sufism. So did he do that himself? And we'll start with his physical. Let's not go spiritual.
Well, I'll just say this without getting too personal. I'll just say this: there was a book that Mubarak Jelani had passed around at one point for everybody to read, or certain people to read, I guess, about Sufism. It's called Irfan, and it's one of those goofy Sufi books, you know, long-winded, poetic, like vague references to the Quran and Hadith. But anyway, I only remember one line from the entire book because it was one of those things I was like, and it was when I was on the juice too, and I read it and I was like, wait a minute, because it said, and this is pretty close to word for word, do not ever follow a sheikh that is overweight because it is a sign that they have no control over their nafs.
I mean, that would be common sense.
Okay, so let's stop it right there. Okay.
And this is the book he gave out.
Hold up, there's something you got to add to that too. All right, that's fine. But Rasulullah also said that the worst container you can fill, don't fill up. The worst container you can fill up is your stomach, is your belly. Basically, that's like the worst thing you can do is overeat and become fat. I mean, and if anybody listen, we don't want to dip. I mean,
no, I see what you're saying with Barry. Let's just make this real clear.
If they want us to show pictures, so photo evidence, we can go to the photo evidence. And I mean, the container was definitely.
But what I'm saying, let me clarify this because everybody, I'm going to be straight. People are going to be getting butt hurt by this topic, but y'all have to use your brain. Once again, put y'all emotions aside and use your brain. We're just trying to explain to y'all on every aspect, he was not what he claimed to be, starting with the physical aspect. This is what we're trying to say. Yeah. We're not trying to go into a whole bunch of stuff and y'all going to get butthurt, but the truth is the truth. If you literally just open your eyes, you will be able to see it. This is what we're saying. So start from the physical on down, he wasn't what he claimed to be, which makes me go into what I was dealing with. I told you he was going to tag me in, dealing with all of mankind, being all mankind. Like I told you, if people just use simple logic and basic Islam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent a large number of prophets to specific nations. He sent one prophet to all of mankind. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala spoke to that one prophet, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, directly on the night journey.
Yeah.
All right. And he spoke to Musa alayhi salam through a burning bush. All right. By what means is Allah talking directly to you? That's one, because he says he talks directly to us. He said out of his own lips. We're going to release the video on it. I'm actually going to do the video on that, inshallah. You say you speak to Allah. When I say I spoke to Allah directly, you speak to him directly whenever you want. I'm talking about just whenever you want. By what means are you speaking directly to him? But you speak directly to the Lord of all the worlds, and he sent you to all of mankind. I thought that's what Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam's mission was, and he completed his mission. So why are you needed in doing the exact same things that he did? Based off your mission, you're indirectly saying that you were a prophet. I'm not, no, let me get in because everybody wants to twist my words. I'm not saying that he claimed to be a prophet. I'm saying putting this thing into perspective. You said your mission was more important than Imam Mahdi. You said you talked directly to Allah. Excuse me. And you were sent for all of mankind. Every prophet except for one was sent to specific nations. So you got sent to all mankind. So that automatically takes precedence over them. A lot of those prophets, they never spoke directly to Allah in any way. It usually came through angels of Jibril, but you're speaking directly to Allah. So I'm saying, give perspective that is a contradiction. That's on the contrary. You can't be sent for mankind if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala already sent the prophet for all of mankind, and you weren't talking directly to him.
And if you guys said for all of mankind, what type of campaign are you launching? What type of campaign have you ran over the last 40 years? And you're supposed to be getting to all of mankind. Meanwhile, it's just us blacks here in America. I don't understand that. That doesn't even make sense.
Well, even look at that. Even look at that, and like for anybody that's been involved with any other American Muslim communities, it's even like if you want to go apples with apples, African American Muslim communities, compare them. Who's behind and who's advanced? How many scholars has Mubarak Jilani actually produced? Not one. In 40 years, not one. Not even
Zero.
one like, oh, that's a student of knowledge. Not even one. Not one.
Brother.
His sons aren't even qualified. He wouldn't even trust them to put them in a leadership role.
Yeah, it's
asinine.
Basically, we just have to look at the information that's placed in front of us, analyze it.
Yeah, frustrating.
Stop fluffing, all y'all. Seriously, I love you guys. Stop fluffing. Stop the fluff. The fluffing has got to end. We all understand exactly what is going on right now. Mubarak Jilani, where is this at? That's a wild ball, man. Let me get this.
I wanted to go back real quick to the characteristics of like a Sufi and like controlling your nas, because there's some other things in here that you guys mentioned that touch on that, because we talked about filling your belly and all that. But also, what about your carnal desires? Like there's hadiths, and if Mubarak remembers it, maybe he could quote it for us about, as a man gets older, there's certain desires that, pacify, sexual desires.
Yeah, we know. I was actually speaking to Hussein about this off mic.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, if y'all suppress these desires.
Masters.
Yeah, not even you and your talibs and your right-hand men and stuff that you were getting married to these young girls. If y'all had any way, shape, or form subdued those knowledge, y'all won't be pursuing kids. I told you, it's contradiction after contradiction on top of contradiction next to contradiction.
And I'm gonna piggyback on that. I mean, we're men, okay? All of us are married here on this panel, except for Umar here. But I'm sure, it's the same things, same difference going to apply. We're all men. So let's put this into proper context so that people can understand. You're a 40-year-old man. I'm 39, right? And I decide, man, I want to marry a 13-year-old girl. I already have enough experience. Oh yeah, and I'm married already. So I already have enough experience. I already have a clear understanding of what's going on. I'm pretty sure I would have a child that's probably her age as well. But I'm going to decide to marry her. There's nothing noble about this. Let's just be real honest here, because in the intimate space that a man shares with his wife, after that situation is done, you're sitting down and you're having a mature or an adult conversation with your spouse. Is that occurring with this 12 or 13-year-old kid? I mean,
Hey,
let's
it might be.
No, it's not. It's
Well,
not.
we're assuming that he's mature.
We're assuming who's mature? The girl?
Bargelani. What if he's on her level? Possible.
Oh,
Listen,
brother. Again, I made I made sure that I said that we're men, so we can, as a man, you can internalize this and put this information into the proper frame. That's not going down.
To me, the biggest one that, and now everybody has a different perspective, but when he's 70 something years old and marries a 16-year-old, to me, that's like the most like obvious sign of what's actually going on. Like you're beyond sick. Like you're already sickly. People's been taking care of you, been going to the hospital, whatever illnesses you've had. And you're 17-year-old or you're 70 years old and you pretty much steal a 16-year-old's life, without the consent of your parent, without the knowledge of your parent.
Here's a question. Yeah, here's a reverse question. Has anyone from TMOA married one of his daughters, one of his nieces, one of his grandchildren? Has any one of the African Americans here married into their family over there? Let's flip this around. What we
I'll do you one better.
I want the answer to that question. No, I want the answer to that question.
Of course not. He's not going to let his daughters marry some black American.
It's a no-brainer. All this stuff is a no-brainer.
None of us.
Well, how many? So he's taken women from the Jamaat and married them off to his male servants. How many males from here have married females from his side, like servants or friends of family or anything? None. And you got all these.
This is not a coincidence.
Yeah.
It's not a coincidence. I mean, it's not a coincidence. It's a pattern. And all you have to do is open your eyeballs and you can see all the repetitive patterns that are happening. Like I told you, this marrying little kids has been going on. It's not an isolated incident. This stuff has been going on. And if we do not stop it or fight against it now, it's going to continue going on. That's why I'm going to sit here and I'm going to fight against it, because y'all ain't putting my daughter in that position, because it's go time.
Yeah,
so what if the response is, that happened 30, 40 years ago. That doesn't really happen anymore. That's the old time.
I mean, how would you know? Because you saying ignorance and everything else. So how would you know if it didn't happen? You're so ignorant. It could be happening right in front of in your house.
And you wouldn't know. Not only that, let's be honest, technology, the internet, laws have caught up to a lot of this stuff. You feel what I'm saying? So all of the malarkey and the poppycock that Mubarak Zelani was doing,
he was able to get away with it.
He was able to get away with it, but now a lot of things have caught up to him. The time has caught up to him. The time has caught up to his cabinet. The reality is that whole administration, the TMOA's entire administration, needs to be purged. They need to be purged. They need to be removed, and things need to be set right. You feel what I'm saying? What's the woman's name?
So how do you
go ahead.
How do you come in and you are now made the Sultan of TMOA?
Oh, please don't say that. Let's just say the head in charge or something, or a supervisor, a manager.
Yeah, the manager. You come in as the manager. What are you suggesting they do to correct this ship? You got rid of all the old administration. What's the first things you start doing?
After purging the people that are not qualified, you have to put people in a position that they're actually qualified to do, so they can do the best job possible. That'll be the most simplest first thing.
Send money
in, keep your money in your community so you can build. When has anybody grown by sending money out somewhere else? So purge the administration, absolutely. Actually let people talk and have dialogue with the community and let them help make the decisions, not having a dictator over you, okay? Actually listening to the community members and having dialogue to decide what's best for the community, not making one person decide what they think is best for the community, knowing they have a bias.
And at the very least, have some type of self-awareness. Take some type of self-accountability.
That's some self-dignity.
Some self-dignity and what's the word I'm looking for? Self-introspection. Everyone needs to have some self-introspection, you know what I mean, upon themselves, because the reality is the inertia of the community, which is TMOA, it's not going anywhere. They're not progressing. They're not advancing. Listen, stop playing. Give me, just myself, 40 years, inshallah. Allah knows best. I would do damage. I mean, good damage. You feel what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't take much. Like, we'll go back to, I'll go and make a reference back to Mubarak Jelani's weight. Because again, this is just relevant. I'm sorry. Get over it, everyone. It's relevant. I looked at myself maybe a few months ago. And I was like, man, who's putting on a couple of pounds? You know what I mean? My wife is feeding me good, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I mean, I've never been the type of guy to be into that type of stuff. You know, I've always been a health conscious person, even growing up, you know what I mean, with my brothers in Michigan and all that. So I decided, I'm going to suppress my NAF, which is the food NAF, one of the I won't say easiest ones, but obviously. I'm going to suppress this. I'm going to battle it. I'm simply going to control how much stuff I put in my mouth. Out of all the vices that we have to deal with in life, you think that I'm about to get dominated by food? Come on, y'all. And then we have, come on, seriously. Come on.
Let me ask you one question real quick before we get to the question.
We have this person, hold up, let's say this last part. We have this individual who was obviously, he was obviously overweight, extremely overweight. And you're a person that's in control of your not teach us. That's the equivalent of a 300-pound fitness trainer teaching one of us about fitness and telling us how to be in shape. He's our trainer. He's not doing all the giving instructions.
That's the perfect analogy.
He's giving instructions. And he's like, okay, no, guys, do it like this. So we're all doing a little, a little aerobics or whatever.
That's the equivalent of the fitness trainer just telling you. He's not actually performing any of the exercises himself. He's just saying, yeah, you do squats like this, you do the curls like this, you need to be running 10 miles or whatever. Meanwhile, he's on a hover round. I mean,
he's sitting there like stand up.
Meanwhile, he ate the exercise bike.
I'm trying to
do it.
So, well, hold on. To bring it back in the ground us, because I told you it's very, very serious. People are going to get butt hurt. I'm sorry, you're going to get butt hurt. Get over your feelings because, like I told you, the truth actually hurts. And a lot of people feign ignorance because that's the quickest go-to. Oh, ignorance. Let me just put the ignorance cloak on. That's what they do immediately. Just because the truth hurts and people tend to shy away from it, because once you see that truth, you already know you're now accountable because you have to make change based off that truth. And that changes people's world. To give you a small perspective on it, when we're all younger, we all did it. And then we'll eat a snack that's a go-to snack. And then some person will find out that it's gelatin or something in that snack. And they're like, oh, no, don't tell me, because you want to continue eating that snack. You don't want to know that truth because you want to keep eating that snack. You see what I'm saying? That's just to put it on a small scale. So imagine a way bigger truth. That is hard for people to face. And they want to shy away from that and they run away from that. And that's not an excuse. Once you run away from that and you leave people behind and try to turn a blind eye, once again, you're still accountable for that. And those are attributes of a coward. Okay.
And just so everyone knows, that's a good point, just so everyone knows too, this is not an us thing. Okay. We're getting contacted, right, from all type of people. And I speak with people a lot. Just so TMOA, I know all of the TMOA people following and listening and all that stuff. So this message is for you guys, man. Y'all ship is weak. I mean, anytime y'all, as a matter of fact, y'all better not take another cell phone in another meeting ever because we get the information immediately. Because your house, I'm sorry. Your house has holes in it, quote unquote mold. And what's so bad and sad is we didn't even plant the moles.
Yeah.
The moles are done with y'all poppycock. They plan it themselves, and they're giving the information to us. I've spoken to so many different old heads since our, oh yeah, to get back to your original question, since we came on the show, right? Not a peep. I'm talking about not one person has dared to come up to me and say, yeah, hey, Hoos, I want to talk to you about, what you said, and I disagree. In fact, the opposite. I've gotten so many people who have reached out to me and my brother and have congratulated us. We're talking about old heads. Honestly, I was going to name drop on this show, but we don't have no time and that'd get too funny. So I'm not going to name drop, you know what I mean? But we've had a lot of old heads who have contacted me personally, and people that I thought was on the suey sauce. I thought they was just like, I thought they was just going in, but no. Come, much to my delight, they've reached out and they've expressed their pleasure and how pleased they were with us and how we said what we said, and we're trying to do what we're doing. And we don't, for us, we're not, I care nothing about praise personally. Alhamdulillah, Allah didn't put that type of situation in my heart. I don't care anything about that. I care about success and what that success looks like for the future of our children and for the future of Islam. That's what I care about. You feel what I'm saying? But I'm just pointing this out to say, not one person. And I spoke to my brother the other day. Me and him was texting back and forth, beefing over the little community. He got mad at the video that I did about them licking the walls and kissing the walls or whatever they were doing in the trailer. He got mad about that. So he hit me up and, I'm disappointed in you, bro, blah, 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 blah. So we're going back and forth, via WhatsApp or whatever. And I literally seen him like 2 days ago at the gym. He's at the YMCA. You know what I mean? He came in and he was like, oh yeah, I want to ask you a question in person. I was like, okay. So when we seen each other, every time I see them, any of my brothers, they always talk about something else. They never address the situation.
So it's
like a big elephant in the room. And I'm just like, okay, we can do this. If y'all want to not bring this up, we'll just silently stage a coup on the whole community. You know what I'm saying? Quote unquote. And you can just be silent, feign ignorance, act like you don't know what's going on. We're not watching the YouTube channels. So who's watching? I mean, no, seriously, we're not watching the YouTube channels. Leave us alone, blah, blah, blah. Unsubscribe. What are you guys following us around for like a bunch of dweebs? You're trying to subscribe, why? Why? You know what I'm saying?
We're about to take questions from the audience, but I'm gonna ask a question while people formulate their questions.
After you ask the question, I want to say one more thing, and then we can get into the questions. No, you ask the question first, then I'll say after.
My question is,
I'm sorry, I have one last quote too. One last quote. This was gold, but go ahead.
All right, okay, so yeah, well, just real quick, because I want you to address it, because this is the standard response that after you point out all these issues and transgressions and wrongs and whatever else you point out, typically people from the cult will say, well, every community has issues. So what's your response to that?
First of all, just because every community has issues doesn't mean your issues are okay. The issues in any community need to be addressed. The problem is they're not being addressed. We're here to make the problem known so we can address it. That's why we need to have dialogue about it.
Typically, I want to hear him say Wakanda forever.
Well, every community.
But nobody from TMOA will come and have a conversation on a public platform because their excuse is, oh, we're not going to keep the cordial, we're going to do this and that, like we're just some out of control savages and we're not going to be able to hold an intellectual conversation. No, they're terrified. Anybody from Team OA, we can write a contract to try to get this situated. Y'all can bring a moderator from y'all group to moderate the situation. We can put in writing the questions, what lines not to cross and everything. We can do it on y'all terms. We're not doing it. And it is not a matter of us trying to win a conversation. We're trying to get to the truth and we're trying to address situations, not turning a blind eye to it. So that would be my answer to that.
And this last quote here, This is this is a famous MG quote. And again, somebody get on over in the comment section and go ahead and Sufi explain this one away. Because again, this is madness. Okay, and everyone knows this one, so it's not like you can't think English. Quote, if you don't fear Allah, fear me. Talk to me. Mubarak Jalani said, if you do not fear Allah, fear him.
Like I told you,
Yep.
that is so ludicrous and ridiculous. But like I told you, somebody that will say that, there is no way that they have a trace of humility in their body.
He was being
no
poetic.
possible way. Yeah, what type of poet? What type of poet is that?
Okay, so you're gonna be poetic and you're gonna speak to people, who are clearly impressionable. You're talking to kids and all that stuff, right? And you're going to say a quote like this: "If you do not fear Allah, fear me." First of all.
Oh, listen.
Why would we be? What are we supposed to be afraid of you? I don't understand. Allah says you fear none. I don't understand. Like this is shirk all the way across the board. Like
the thing is,
360. Like, all the way around.
It's so. At this point, it's just common knowledge. Listen, can we just get past the debate that Mubarak Jalani was a fraud? He was a straight up fraud.
Yes, we're past that. Yes, please.
Like I'm talking about even TMY people. Just get past it. He was a fraud. Because I'm hearing the shirk statement that we all know he said, if you don't fear Allah, then fear me. Then in the next lecture he gives, he says, if you fear anything besides Allah, you're not Muslim anymore.
Come on. All those missed courses are riddled with contradictions and hypocrisy.
I remember hearing like brothers giving khutbahs on the land and different stuff, talking about, and Abuji said, if you don't fear Allah, then fear me or whatever. And I remember even as a kid thinking,
what? I mean, same thing. I'm a kid, huh?
I mean, literally, that's not moving me at all. Because number one,
at all,
he's definitely doing nothing with me physically. I mean, literally, face to face, he's not touching me. I mean, if he's even able to, if he's even, what the heck, man?
Will you freeze?
He's still here.
You're good with us. We can hear you.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
I can't see you, but we can hear you.
Somebody's sabotaging me.
Oh. But yeah, man, there's just so many contradictions and
it's riddled. Like the contradictions, the blatant lies that comes out of the administration's mouth, their leader's mouth, and we can show y'all the lies. Y'all still going to believe it. Y'all living in an alternate reality. Y'all closing your eyes and y'all wishing this to be what it isn't. It's just not.
Oh,
y'all aren't no real Sufis, and y'all aren't on the Sufi path. He was never a real Sufi on the Sufi path. What are you doing? Any of y'all TMA, what are y'all doing on the Tariqa path that I'm not doing that makes you closer to being a Sufi than I am? What have you been doing in the past year? Because I know what y'all all been doing in the past 30 years because I've been with y'all. What have y'all been doing that makes you so closer to being a Sufi and you being on the Sufi path? I told you, yeah, you can claim, I can claim I'm on the yellow brick road, but I can be on some muddy dirt back road. You can claim you're on this path, but what are you actually doing that's showing that you're on this path? I was on the same path with you.
They are literally on the yellow brick road. They're looking for a brain. They're looking for a heart. They're looking for courage, right?
They're definitely looking for courage. We were actually going to address the elders, but we don't have time.
No, we're about to make time. Sorry, no, we gotta do this. I'm gonna make some statements. I'm gonna let you ask the questions, but let me just say this real fast before I get to that. I'm not gonna be able to squeeze it all in one episode, but I'm gonna be on future episodes, inshallah, for all y'all TMOA members. I am a part of R2F, and like I told you, I'm not boasting or anything about it. I'm just letting it be known, so it's not a surprise or anything. Because there's no facade over here. There's no hidden agendas or anything. It's transparency and what we're trying to do and try to accomplish. We are trying to help as many as we can help. That is it. So y'all be seeing a lot more of my face, inshallah. But to get into addressing the elders, being nice and blunt, Y'all thrusted us into all this. We were born into this. Y'all put us in this predicament. And now we are on the front lines facing it and fighting it. There is no Escape Occult 101 book or Escaping the Cult for Dummies book. We're going to err. We're going to make mistakes because we're trying to figure this thing out as we go. So instead of y'all sitting way in the background when y'all are the ones that thrust us into this, we need y'all support as much as possible. It's okay for y'all to be critiquing us and helping us. We welcome that. There's no arrogance over here. But I need y'all to do that a little closer on my side. I don't need you doing that from way back there to where you're shouting and yelling. I can barely see you. We're on the front lines because of y'all. So I need y'all on the front lines with me. But irregardless if y'all on the front lines or not, we're going to keep pushing forward, inshallah. We have no intentions on going nowhere. We're going to fight against this, and we're going to keep standing for the people that don't have a voice and that are being abused in any way, shape, or form, okay? In TMOA and anywhere else that we can reach, but we're starting here, and inshallah, we'll be able to branch out, period.
And I just wanted to add to that. We know, I've spoken to enough older brothers. Alhamdulillah, I've been able to maintain some quality relationships with a lot of these older brothers. And they just pretty much just giving it to me straight. And what I've been able to conclude from the information that they've been giving me is their hands are dirty. We all have to understand this. Their hands are dirty. So that's one of the reasons why they won't come out, because they're going to incriminate themselves. And then all of the people that they pretended, or basically they're going to have to unravel some of their skeletons. And they don't yet have the courage to be able to face that. They don't yet have the courage to be able to face this. This is the reality. Based off of the information I've been getting from a lot of these elders, they would talk to us. They would talk to us, right? They're going to talk to us. Oh, yeah, like, okay, well, why don't you come on the show and say that on the show? What?
Dang.
No.
What is going on?
Continue talking. I'll deal with this.
I'm not that popular, trust me.
Go ahead, continue.
But yeah, that's pretty much what I've noticed is going on with the elderly brothers. They have too much dirt on their hands because a lot of them have gotten involved with these same acts. You feel what I'm saying? And some of the ones that have spoken out, like alhamdulillah, Uncle MJ, being real, Unc, you need to, or no, I won't say you need to, it would be appropriate for you to come back on and give us a little bit more of that 1/10 that you was talking about. You feel what I'm saying? Because you only gave us 1/10. It would be fitting and appropriate given the circumstances and the situation.
It would be more respectable and commendable.
And
we will appreciate it. The generation that you are helping, that are imploring you to do this, will appreciate that more, and it's going to help push everything forward so much more.
And I'm going to say this last thing because I told my Abu that I would get this done. And this goes back to humility and arrogance. So my father, he actually came over to me. He came over to my house shortly after we did the Cyber Thug episode. That's a funny title, by the way. I don't know who titled that, but after we did that episode, my Abu came over to my house like the next day or whatever. The next day. And he expressed his displeasure. He expressed his displeasure about how I joked the what's the brother's name? I thought I had another funny one. I don't want to. I'm not.
Yeah, the brother.
What's the brother's name? Jamal.
Yeah.
Jamal. Okay. And he just expressed his displeasure about that, and it was more so from the angle he didn't prefer me to do that and joke him and stuff like that, and he also what I got without him saying it, because my boo, I know he's my pop, so I know him. I'm able to read between a lot of his, fog, and I could tell that he was more so concerned about my safety, because he started to let me know that, he was concerned that maybe someone might retaliate or, try to do some harm to me based off of me joking the one brother. And I can understand his angle from there, so I'm apologizing right now. I want to always maintain the pleasure of my father, and I would advise all of us to do this. It's better for us to make sure that we keep our parents happy, keep our parents comfortable, keep them pleased. And it takes nothing from me to apologize to the brother for me joking him like that. It's taking nothing from me at all. In fact, I'm honored to do that and to make sure that I honor the request of my father and maintain his pleasure. You know, so Jamal, his last name Williams. Last name Williams.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Yeah,
Jamal. I, Hussein Haq, I'm publicly apologizing to you for, joking you in that way on the episode. And again, it's taking nothing from me. In fact, I feel great about it. I'm humbled to apologize, and I'm humbled to honor my father in this way and respect him or respect his words. And I would suggest that everyone who has a father or a mother keep this in mind. That message that Uncle Azim sent to his children, y'all should take heed to y'all boo. Take heed to his message because he was speaking the truth. You understand? And again, that's the message for all of us. So I'll just leave it there. And we can open this thing up.
We can ask the questions. I gotta say this last thing because I had a lot of categories.
I gotta say this last thing. Y'all been saying I gotta say this last thing.
I know that is true. That is true. So I'm not gonna say that. But let me get this off my chest. Let me get this off my chest, and we can take these questions because this is another. I'm going back onto the TMOA weak sauce shelf, and I'm getting some more weak sauce from them. Okay, y'all stop playing the victim card. I cannot take it anymore. Oh my God, stop playing the victim card. Okay, y'all are the victimizers and have been the victimizers since day one, 40 years ago. When y'all been doing all the stuff y'all been doing to date, all the people that know what's going on or that are doing it or know that it's happening and feigning ignorance, that's their favorite one, y'all need to stop, okay? Stop playing the victim, we are the victimizers. And to give you perspective, this is their go-to, Jaffer, is, why don't y'all leave us alone? This and that and that and that. Y'all just blind following Jaffer, this and that and that and that. Which makes absolutely no sense because when you first had your questions and everything, you wrote a private letter. Okay, this is common sense. People just use brain. A private letter to the leader. It didn't need no third-party filters or mail police to go through it like it was a mail bomb or a shoe bomb or some anthrax or something in it. It was supposed to go straight to the leader. And we already know we had the technology to track emails. You track the email, they went all through it, and then they started bouncing and sending your private letter. You sent that letter in confidence. You sent that letter, it was a trust. Mm-hmm. They opened it all up. They sent it to everybody, and then they made it public, okay? They are automatically the perpetrators. Use your brain. Stop telling us to leave y'all alone. And then that wasn't good enough. They said, hey, we're gonna throw some more spices on it. Let's dub him a dog in a munafiq. Exactly. Let's just throw that on there, spice it up, get the people really riled up. And it worked. They got them really riled up. Like I told you, disrespected you, dishonored you, and then I'm not even going to go into the rest of what we know they took you through. That's just the basic. Y'all were the perpetrators from day one. So please stop that victim card. Y'all are the victimizers. Stop telling us to leave y'all alone. What we're doing, y'all don't need our help and y'all don't like what we're doing, keep ignoring us. I'm going to break my fingers doing the quotations. Keep ignoring us like y'all been doing for the past year. Ignore us because this is not for y'all. Y'all said y'all don't want it. Y'all want to go back to the cult and y'all want to be oppressed and suppressed and follow and blind follow and all that. Go ahead. If that's what you want to do, please go. This is for the people who actually want help and who is actually going to reach. Stop playing the victim card because y'all are the victimizers. We are the victims and we're standing up for ourselves. That's what the victimizers always do. Once the person always starts defending himself, then the bully wants to be the victim and act like, oh, no, we're not on the offense. We're defending ourselves and we're defending the next generation. And inshallah, they're going to defend the next generation from y'all malarkey.
I mean,
take the questions.
Yeah, let's take these questions.
Hold up, I got a question, man. I got a question. It just came to my mind, man. Okay. They as a group, because their leaders and the people who were sent to speak to represent them, they said out of their mouths, let me be nice. They said on the podium, on camera, on record or whatever, and was proud to say it. They find it hard to
Oh my
believe
God.
that Jesus is not the Son of God. They find it hard to believe.
No,
Now, hold
no.
on. Let me just.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
They find it hard to believe, yet they can't find it hard. They cannot find any way, shape, or form to think that a 300-pound, charlatan could possibly be duping them, could have probably been tricking them. They find it hard to believe something that Allah says very clearly, and Rasul says very clearly. There's many hadith, ayats of Quran. The whole Muslim world knows this. It's not hard to believe. It's hard for them to believe that Jesus is not the Son of God, but they cannot find not even a shred, not even possible for them to. Maybe this nigga been taking us for granted and has been taking advantage of us.
That
and
is
everything
way
else
too heavy.
Who knows how many years?
That's way too heavy, Mubarak. Just too heavy, straight to the point. I'm talking about they're running around like chickens with their head cut off right now.
I mean, literally, they don't even want to. They don't even want to. I mean, they definitely want to hear it because they are listening and watching. But face to face, they act like there's no way, no, blah 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 blah. No. He's this and that. They got every excuse under the sun. Yet, I mean, the other way around, something clearly blasphemous. Y'all niggas is like, I mean,
brothers.
Say the N-word.
The brothers.
Oh, yeah.
I know you're passionate. It's all good. We make mistakes. It's okay. I know y'all butt hurt. We make mistakes. We're sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry,
the brothers.
But seriously, can anybody explain to me how they can? How that is even possible? How can that be combined in one human being? To on one hand, what Allah and His Messenger are saying about Isa bin Maryam, they can't.
They find extreme difficulty.
Go ahead, man.
We can
extreme difficulty. We can still hear you.
Yeah, they again. Mubarak just made a really.
Yeah, I haven't even thought about that. That is how you simplify things. They want to complicate it and throw all this unnecessary stuff in. That's simple, straight, flat line, straight to the point A to B. But no, they don't like that. That's that kryptonite.
And what you just said, Mubarak, alhamdulillah, that's actually very thought-provoking.
Mm-hmm.
And it provokes you to think critically, about situations. But let's go ahead and take these questions, inshallah, so we can keep our time.
We held y'all enough. We held y'all up enough.
I'm talking about
we have still so much more. Like I told you, we can't squeeze it all in. But shukran Allah, this isn't a sprint. This is a marathon.
Yeah.
This is a marathon, inshallah.
So okay. What we got, Amr?
Okay. Do you have questions for the guests? Question. Will R2F be willing to do a civil dialogue on another transparent platform?
Absolutely. That's a no-brainer. I think y'all can say that too.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mr. Dean said he wants to say something real quick.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Assalamu
alaikum.
I just wanted to say Muhammad Ahmed's been doing a great job tonight. He's a really good addition to the panel. I just wanted to give him some props. He's been really killing it tonight with all the points he's been making. And so hopefully, we'll be seeing you more often. You and Hussein, you make a very good duo. So I just want to give you some props. You're doing a really good job, and that's about all I had to say.
I appreciate it. Shukran, Mr. Dean. You're definitely going to hear more of me and see more of me, inshallah. And eventually, we're going to link up.
All right,
I like the idea of a Hussein show.
Facts.
No, I'm trying to tell you, y'all don't understand. Over here, we're public enemy number 1 in 1. Trust me, us two combined, no, people aren't going to hear none of that we're saying. I'm trying to tell you, it's wild out here.
What else we got, guys?
You're definitely going to hear more of me.
I have to copy chill, cause okay. How does R2F find the People's Republic of LM's latest charges against TMOA? I have no idea what that is.
What is this on YouTube or?
This
say it again?
How does R2F find the People's Republic of LM's latest charges against TMOA?
It's the first time I've heard
we actually have a list. That's what I was saying. Like we're networking with other groups as well. This is what TMOA doesn't seem to, they can't wrap it around their brain. We're actually mingling and interacting with other Muslims, other groups. You know what I'm saying? So actually, I was supposed to. There was a couple things I was supposed to do tonight and was supposed to say, but we just don't have the time. But it is a list of charges that have been brought against the community, and this group wants these charges addressed. Simple and plain. This group wants these charges addressed, and they are prepared to issue mubahala as well against this group and challenging them on this platform. So that's pretty heavy, but that's a whole nother segment.
Yeah, it's a whole nother segment.
So that's the answer to that question. I was supposed to address it. I actually had a good analogy I was supposed to say too. I spoke to this brother today. I'll say this. I spoke to this brother today who just recently got off the sauce. And me and him had a very good conversation. And he just made a wonderful analogy, but I don't have the time right now, but it just sums up our situation perfectly. And that brother actually, me and him had a little disagreement in the past. He actually apologized, to me personally. And I thought that was very respectable and commendable. And I appreciated that. This is how you cultivate love. This is how you bring about unity. You have to be humble and say the things that you need to say before, you don't know if you'll get the opportunity. So I just wanted to just shout out that brother, and I appreciate the call today. And good stuff.
Hey, we have a question for Hus. Can you comment on the fathers also who have lost their children to the cult?
Can I comment on the fathers? Like basically,
that's
a lot of them. It's a lot of fathers who have lost their children to the cult, and some children have lost their fathers to the cult. So that goes both ways. You feel what I'm saying? And again, we're talking about this stuff because we're on the front line. We're not making nothing up, and real difficult, very, very difficult. I can only imagine, and I would say the fathers, inshallah, you got to fight back. You got to fight back. Fight back. These are your children, your offspring.
It's your flock. You don't let somebody else come and take your flock.
You defend your family. You feel what I'm saying? You defend them with everything you got, because this is what men do. You understand what I'm saying? This is what men do. I mean, to think that fully grown men are going to just allow their children to just be blown into the sea and not do anything about it. So no, that's pretty much what I would say to that brother. Good question, but yeah, that's a tough one.
Okay, we have a question for Jaffer. Can you please say if you have heard from the BIB in coordination with the mental abuse charges against TMOA?
Not yet. That's the thing that you just mentioned. Not yet. We haven't discussed it yet, but it sounds interesting, and it sounds like it's just another step in the right direction. Especially coordinated with other communities, because one of the big things that one of TMOA's biggest fears is actually being exposed to the Ummah of the reality of what they are. So they have a lot of stuff that, like, for instance, if you go to like fitrah.com and you read all that stuff, for people that are in TMOA, we know that most of it's true.
Yeah,
right?
when we're reading it, we're like, oh man, I know that. I was reading it, like just checking it off. Oh man, yep. I'm like, man, I witnessed that.
But then the majority of the Ummah looks at it, and the majority of Ummah looks at that stuff and they just dismiss it as, oh, they're just Islamophobes and that's crazy. But like now that we have people like us that are telling the truth coming from the group, like, no, we were doing terrorist stuff. So it's good to connect with the Ummah and work against this stuff together.
Yeah, we have inshallah, the R2F has great intentions and big intentions, and it's bigger than us. And we have a lot of things going on and things that we're working towards. And people from TMOA try to minimize that as much as they can to make themselves feel better or something. But no, this is way bigger than y'all think. Way bigger than y'all think.
Absolutely. We got any more questions?
We just have more questions about the People's Republic of LM, which I'm sure we'll cover later.
We'll get more information out on all that stuff, inshallah, and all the other different types of groups and communities that we are working with, inshallah.
Hanif, is that a question you have, Hanif, or now? Hanif says something in chat. It's not sure of a question or not, or he's just making a statement. So let me know, Hanif, if that's a question or not. I'll read it if it's a question. Not sure.
You got any questions from the sideline, Mubarak? Anything?
Yeah, looks like you're chewing on something. Looks like you had
Nah,
something in
man, I'm
mind.
just I'm annoyed. Somebody was spamming me.
I
and
understand.
when I have my phone like this, like if I get calls and stuff, it'll mess up my
The
audio,
messages.
and I have to
I
go out
got
and come
you.
back in. And so
Oh,
I'm just annoyed. But it's all right. They did it on purpose, which I really don't know why, but it's all good. But I just would like to say one last thing, which I mean, y'all are very nice guys, man. Alhamdulillah, y'all really are. Y'all much nicer than me. I really, honestly, I would say this. I really need to adopt more of the both of you, your demeanor and your class, because sometimes I just get way off. But regarding some of our forefathers and these people, as I started with, and I'll just say this real quickly, that these things that you were privy to, you knew about but didn't say. You didn't help the people when they needed someone to at least say, hey, this is wrong, or hey, just speak up or something, or at least do the least you can do is hate it in your heart or whatever. These things, whether it's something small, the young child, I've seen people blocked at the mailbox at the top of these lands and blocked from their families and sent away and not allowed to see their children and wives because they didn't pay someone some money that they didn't owe, that was not even their right to have taken from them. These type of things. You don't overlook all the things that have gone on here and how you could possibly be responsible for, and Allah will take from you if you don't make it right. So please, we can try to find some sort of way. We don't want anyone to go to jail unless they really, really need to. But even if you get locked up, this is the thing, and this last thing I'll say. Even if one of these people, just say one of these people who have abused someone, even if, according to the laws of this country, they took you and locked you up for the rest of your life, do you realize that the law of Allah still will apply to you? So when you go and meet Allah, He's still going to take from you, because if the person you wrong does not forgive you, and that's a big if they don't forgive you, you're toast, buddy. You still got to pay for it, even if you repent to Allah, and even if you went to jail in this country for it, you're still on the hook.
That's real talk. That's 100%.
Well, we'll leave it there.
No more questions.
We'll leave it there. Alhamdulillah, Mubarak.
We have one request from Hanif, but I think we could say that for later, because he asked y'all to talk about the Hell's Night at the retreat or something. What did he say? He said,
oh my God.
So we have to say it for
I told you, honestly, we can have one whole podcast on retreats alone.
Yes, retreat, 100%.
So we might as well make intentions for that in the future. And I definitely want to be featured in that. I've only been to 3. I'm sure y'all been to way more, but 3 was more than enough to know that I was never going to another one again. But yeah, I've been to 3. But like I told you, we'll address that later. But there's no more questions. I would like to make my closing statements. It's very, very quick and simple and to the point, and I've been waiting for this. I gotta move closer to the camera. All right, my closing statement is to all the TMOA members, administration, the leaders family, and all y'all that are listening, okay? Y'all are still, as we speak, worse than Bani Israel, okay? I didn't say it, your leaders said that. Y'all are worse than them. And that has never been retracted. Like I told you, even when it was said, I didn't believe it, and I wasn't accepting it. I wasn't never worse than them. They have verses and verses and verses in the whole Quran about them to give us examples, and y'all got dubbed worse than them, and y'all still are, based off of y'all leaders' words and how he feels. I don't think y'all are, but this is what he is. So y'all currently worse than Bani Israel, okay? And if y'all go and follow this alleged 7 Sultan, y'all are going to follow a munafiq, because whoever didn't go see the miracle is a munafiq. So every one of y'all leaders' followers in Pakistan, all his household in Pakistan that didn't come over here physically are munafiq, based off of what your leader said. So you're about to follow a munafiq, and you have a lot of munafiqs in the midst based off of y'all beliefs. And I just wanted to make that clear and drive that home. You can't escape that because that is what was said, and it hasn't been retracted, and it can't be retracted anymore. That's done.
MashaAllah. All right, brothers, we'll end it there. And yeah, inshallah. Alhamdulillah.
My apologies if I was a little too cutthroat, but I told you it's serious to me.
All right. So we have our just a couple quick announcements before we close out. We have our website up, which is, what's the actual address?
I can post it. Hold on 1 second. I'll post it on YouTube for
Yeah,
everyone.
R2 Fitrah.
Yeah.
It's R2Fitrah.org.
R2Fitrah.org.
Yes.
So look forward to that. It's still in work in progress, but you can go there. If people want to donate to help out the cause, they can go there as well. So we talked today about a lot of things that communities that's going on in the community or group of TMOA. And this wasn't really a theological show. It was just talking about things that we just recognize as being wrong if we're human beings. Things that are, to go back to the name of our group, the Fitrah tells you that this stuff is wrong. So we can have these debates, or it's not even debates, but you guys can try to justify the things that go on with Sufism, with Wahhabism, and all these different isms and all these different religious things, and we can thoroughly debunk everything you said Islamically. But again, we focused on just common sense, and to kind of wrap this up, we have to wrap it up Islamically. So I thought the best way to do that is to go back to what is called Hilf al-Fudul. Okay, and this is a treaty that Rasulullah took part in before Islam came. Okay, so this is before he got revelation, before the Holy Quran's being sent down. This is before Islam. The Meccan pagans, the pagan Meccans, the Quraysh, this is what they agreed to. And we know these are people that are burying their daughters. These are people that are, we know all the bad things about the Meccans. So I'll first say the hadith, and Rasulullah said, excuse me, he said, I witnessed a pact of justice in the house of Abdullah ibn Judan that was more beloved to me than a herd of expensive red camels. If I were to call it now in the time of Islam, I would respond. Or if it were to be called right now in the time of Islam, I would respond. And then another version says, Rasulullah said, make such pacts to restore rights to their owners, such that no oppressor has strength over the oppressed. So we're talking about justice. We're talking about something that happened pre-Islam. We're talking about something that during Islam, Rasulullah said, I would still join that treaty being Muslim, even after having revelation. And just to give you some background on it, it came up because when people not from the Quraysh or from Mecca would go there and trade, do business, if they didn't have family members there, sometimes they'd get ripped off. So if we put this in the context of TMOA, we have people inside of TMOA, part of your community, that have family there and are still being ripped off. So what happened was one person from Yemen, a trader, came to Mecca to trade. He sold some goods, and the Quraysh chief was like, all right, I'm gonna give you your money tomorrow. Brother came back tomorrow or the next day. So where's money? I'll give it to you tomorrow. And this kept on happening. Basically, he wasn't gonna pay him the money. So he went to the Kaaba and complained, like, is this how y'all do people? So all the virtuous chiefs in Mecca came together and made a pact, made an alliance that they said, if we see anybody weak who's being transgressed upon, we will all join together to fight against the transgressor, no matter who it is. These are non-Muslims coming to do this. They don't have to help anybody, but they're saying, you know what? This is wrong. These things that are happening to these people that don't have any defense, they don't have any support. This is wrong. So you people that are in the cult and you are recognizing that these things are wrong, just like the members of R2F got together, connected, you could do the same thing with the people in your group and connect with other people that view these things as wrong. Try to stop at least the things that you recognize as wrong. If you might not agree with everything that we're saying, you might not agree with the theological stuff, and you might agree with all the regular worldly stuff. or vice versa. At least address the things that you recognize is wrong. Get together with others and try to stop the wrong. And if you can't, get out of there. Save yourself and save your families. So with that, we'll see you guys next week. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi.